I just want to remind everybody that we have quite a stack of cards still to get through, so we have to really keep the comments moving, and please keep them to the state strategic plan, okay? Next is Peter here.
I'm going to put his card aside, and if he comes to come back in, if anyone knows the gentleman, please identify him and we'll make sure to call him. Basil Hone. Basilhone. Okay, same thing. Nelson Helu, Helu. Up next is Chuck McGrarty, after Nelson.
Hello, my name is Nelson Helu. I'm from Kinnelon, New Jersey. First of all, I wasn't originally planning to say this. I travel 50 miles to go to my job. And you know, I like the option of being able to do that and not being told by government that, oh no, I have to live right next to my job in order to have that job. I like living in a suburban community. I don't want to have to live in an apartment complex with people living right next to me. And if I'm in a position to afford it, and I'm in a position where I can have that, I want that option. I'm in America, and in America, that's what made us great. For over 200 years, America has been, well, it's not 200 years, it's probably more like 120 years. America went and was very prosperous. And then they started getting involved and sticking their nose in the people's business. And ever since then, we've been having trouble, especially in the last 40 years, and particularly the last 5. It is not the place of the government to tell us how to do our lives. Having a plan that tells us where we have to put our house, or we can't put our house on this part of the property, or you can't live in this kind of an environment, is just un-American. What is American is if I bought the property, it's mine to use as I see fit, within a certain guideline that the very local people set, not the state. Anything that takes my personal property rights away, and this does all over the place, is just, as far as I'm concerned, unacceptable at any level. And I tell you, do not approve this plan. And I'm ashamed to have you as a mayor in a town in New Jersey to come up with this and then say you don't even know what Agenda 21 is? Tell us I did not have sex with that woman. Man, you're as big an embarrassment as he was at that time. Thank you.
Is Chuck here? No, he's going to submit written comment. All right, Elliot Ruger. After Elliot is Jeff Tittle.
Hi, my name is Elliot Ruga. I am the Senior Policy Analyst for the New Jersey Highlands Coalition. And it is an organization of 500 citizens in this state who want me to come here and comment on this plan tonight. And I'm a citizen of this state as well. And we believe that planning is a necessary part of civilized society. And there's a rational amount of planning that needs to be done on a local level, on a regional level, and on a state level, and perhaps even a national level. It depends what needs to be planned. And something I find lacking in the proposed draft strategic plan is one of the things that all of us in New Jersey own, and we've given it to the state in trust to manage for us, and that is water. It's a very important, necessary, essential resource. We all drink it. Our manufacturing, food and beverage, and pharmaceutical industries rely on a lot of it. So this is something that is a state resource that belongs in the state plan to be addressed, how you're going to manage it for us and how are you going to protect it for us. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Palmer is up next.
Hi, Jeff Tittle, Director, New Jersey Sierra Club. And I'm here tonight because I am not a planner, and I was not part of the stakeholder meetings either, but I'm here tonight because the state of New Jersey does have serious problems. The state of New Jersey has seen 6 major floods in 2 years. A third of our private wells that have been tested show signs of pollution from overdevelopment. We have seen only 1 stream left in the state that actually meets all Clean Water Act criteria of swimmable, fishable, and drinkable. So we have serious problems in this state. We have high property taxes, we have traffic, we have a lot of air pollution and water pollution. New Jersey is denser per square mile than Japan, India, or even China. And the only thing denser are the politicians in Trenton that never get it. What we have here is not a state plan. A state plan should be based on capacity, on science, on where there's a vision for where growth should go, where there's a vision where growth should be limited, and where there are areas in need of preservation. We have way too much vague wordage in this plan, and too many different things in the plan that are not specific enough. For instance, you could become a growth area if you're a half a mile from a railroad track, kind of like Alice's Restaurant, or a half mile from an exit off a highway, or you're next to a center. You can go on, and but this is all about where we're supposed to be investing our money and our resources. Planning Area 1, which is considered a growth area in this plan, that includes Rumson and Alpine and Short Hills. I'm not sure if they really need our money. They can grow plenty on their own. And I think that the state plan has to be looking at, 1, how much growth can the state have? How do we get that growth here? How do we develop our economy? Where do we need to put our investments? And unfortunately, I think this plan in its current form is way too vague. The other concern that I have is that it's not about the environment and limiting growth and development, because parts of this plan can trump that, but who does it trump it for? Does it trump it for the average homeowner who wants to put a deck on their house down the shore, or does it do it for someone who's politically connected? Does this plan, because of the lack of transparency and criteria, become a way to justify giving $400 million to Xanadu or $270 million to the Rebel Casino, or building the tunnel in Macy's basement? And I think that's why you need to have clear criteria, so that people know what the plan is really about, where the growth is going to go. And that's why having a state plan map, whether we like it or not, does at least provide some of that transparency, as long as it's based on where we know we can afford to have growth and where we can do growth in a way that helps the economy and everyone in the state. My biggest concern in this plan, one of it is for growth areas, that under it, areas in need of redevelopment can also get funding. Well, some of those areas that towns have designated are also areas where they're doing eminent domain. And I think that's something that should be looked at more carefully in this plan. Because we, the Sierra Club, had opposed the Kelo decision, and we don't think that that type of development is appropriate when you take other people's lands and give it to a private developer. And towns do that. We also believe that there are areas in the state that we need to make sure that we protect. But we need to do it in a way that also manages the growth in those areas, not just through fee simple acquisition. And so we really need to look at criteria for where we need to protect growth and to protect the natural resources as well as promote growth. And finally, I think that this plan is less about Agenda 21 and more about Century 21. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.
Followed by Judy Rostello.
Thank you. My name is Peter Palmer. I'm a Somerset County freeholder. It's vitally important that municipal governments and county governments participate in this process, because if you don't participate in the process, you can't complain about the results. Thank you.
Thank you, Judy.
Judy. Next, after Judy, is Nancy Misasi.
I want to talk about equity. I have the privilege of taking care of my granddaughter every day, and today we played teacups. And we started out with a little bit of water in everybody's cup, but it wasn't right. This one got more, this one didn't get more. We ended up just throwing all the water out and starting all over again. And by the time we got done, it was time for her nap. She never got a chance to play the party. She just was worried about how much everybody had. My point in this is I think we're at a tea party right here. Everybody's worried about how equity and if they're going to make sure everybody is even. Well, when you make sure everybody's even, nobody flourishes. And that's what we need. We need to be left alone and get your hands out of our teacups.
Thank you. Nancy, M-I-S-A-S-I. Okay, great. Thank you. Chris Sturm is up next, followed by Eric Snyder.
I'm Chris Sturm. I work at New Jersey Future, but my comments tonight are going to be as a citizen of this state. First, I want to thank the members of the State Planning Commission and the state agency employees for coming out tonight. I know you guys have a busy week. I've lived in New Jersey for over half of my adult life, and I love it. I own a home here. My husband and I have raised our 3 kids here, or almost raised them. Like everyone else, we have a strong interest in how this state grows and develops. We've heard a lot tonight about private property rights, and they're very important. They're affected by government decisions at the local level and the state level. My home in particular is my biggest asset. Thankfully, my town has done a really good job of managing growth. It's managed to attract new restaurants and businesses to town, including the one where my oldest daughter worked as a waitress for her first job. We got a new library with a plaza, which was a safe place for my kids to hang out with their friends, where people could watch them when I wasn't home. I like to hike, and my town has expanded some of our parks and built new trails, which has been great. The town's also done a good job of giving homeowners enough freedom and leeway to put on additions and expand their homes, but not to allow monstrosities that would overwhelm the neighborhood. Traffic is a challenge with all of this activity, and it hasn't gotten better, but it hasn't gotten worse. They're doing a pretty good job of widening intersections, keeping it safe for bikers, which includes my kids, and keeping our train station accessible. So on a municipal level, planning for economic growth and environmental preservation and transportation is working out pretty well. It's keeping my community a nice place to live, and it's protecting my property values. State government, as you know, as we've been talking about tonight, deals with these same issues, but in a different way. It doesn't control those local decisions about what can get built and what can't get built. But the state government is spending millions and billions of dollars every year, our taxpayer dollars, on investments to attract growth and to attract new jobs, on creating new parks and keeping our water clean and our air clean, and on our transportation system. That's the biggest ticket item of all, our highways, our roads, bridges, trains, and so forth. So to me, it makes sense that the state is thinking strategically about how to plan these investments so they're coordinated with each other. And they're not subsidizing businesses in places where it would impair clean water, and they're not preserving land where companies want to locate where there's infrastructure. The State Planning Commission knows better than anyone that we've had a state plan in place since the mid-90s. It's based on a vision that was developed with the input of lots of people, thousands of people in hundreds of meetings like this one. This state strategic plan built on this vision. It really lays out what I think is a practical way to try to put that plan into place to improve things for all of us. I think it's especially important now that our economy is tight and people are struggling to pay their bills. We really need to make sure that our tax dollars are going to have the biggest bang for the buck, and that as taxpayers we'll get the best return on our investment. I don't think the plan is perfect. I think it needs work, but I do think it's a good start. So I want to thank you all for coming out and listening to our comments.